Next year is going to be my 20th year in the real estate industry, and it's been one of the coolest, wildest, most amazing rides beyond anything I could have ever imagined. And reflecting on these 2 decades in the industry, going forward, I really want my brand to represent everything I'm all about. And it's one of the most challenging things that I've had to do, just because it forces me to ask myself the question, what am I really all about? And in order for me to answer that, I really had to dig deep, and I had to think back to my childhood days in Mexico. I had to go back to the beginning and back to where it all started. I grew up in a small city, Mexicali, and I grew up in a neighborhood that's about in the outskirts of the city. It's about 30 minutes from the city, so it's literally in the middle of nowhere. You can say that it was a semi-rural or even rural neighborhood, and we had 3 paved streets. There was a lagoon behind my house. We had mosquitoes, we had frogs, we had bats, and it wouldn't be uncommon to see wild animals roaming around the neighborhood as well. I remember that one time I got out of the house, there were these 2 horses, and me and my buddies, we kind of started calling each other, hey, there's these horses in front of my house, let's just hop on them and go cruise the neighborhood. So we would do stuff like that. That would be a Tuesday. So because we were this little neighborhood in the middle of nowhere, we had a very strong sense of community. We all looked out for each other. We all took care of each other, and most of the members in my community were ranchers. They were, really hard workers. They worked the land, and our family was one of the few that had business in the city. And I would go to school in Mexicali and then drive back to my neighborhood. And I remember that none of my friends from school would want to come over because it was just too far for them. So for me, my community and the sense of community was everything. And along with that sense of community, there was also a direct relationship with a sense of loyalty and trust because, like I said, we all looked out for each other. And looking back and reflecting on my life in Mexico, that's why my values like community, loyalty, integrity, trust are such pillars in my business and in my personal relationships because it's technically part of my DNA. Looking back on these 20 years in the real estate industry, I can proudly say that my specialty, my niche, has been helping my friends, mis amigos, with their real estate needs. And I don't say this lightly. On the contrary, I say it with the utmost respect and sense of responsibility. To have my friends trust me with their biggest financial decision and have those friends, mis amigos, as my biggest advocates, it's something sacred to me. In my neighborhood, the cowboy hat represents hard work. It represents callous hands. It represents loyalty, integrity, family, your roots, never forgetting where you came from, always being proud of where you came from. And as this new decade, new season in my career begins, I want to have a reminder with me at all times of what I'm really all about. My grandfather had a saying, La familia se hace de buenos amigos. Good friends are the real family. And that's something that as I have been reflecting back on my career, it's been really stuck in the back of my head. Buenos amigos are the real family. So as Sean Carter once said, allow me to reintroduce myself. I am Carlos Gonzalez, your real estate amigo.